Alright, y'all, what's going on? What's going on? Alright, so today I'm eating Canes. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and subscribe. Even if you aren't, if you haven't subscribed, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you get notifications next time we post a video. Leave some comments down below. Let us know things you like to see us try, things you like to see us cook, interact with us, please be with me. I'm going to say grace and get started. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this food that we're about to receive for nourishment of our bodies and health. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Alright, so I got a Caniac combo which comes with 6 tenders, fries, coleslaw, and garlic toast, and 2 cane sauces because you got 6 tenders, okay?
I'm sitting by the side right here.
And yeah. Y'all know that it might be an addiction at this point, you know, needing. I just like to eat my fries with ranch and ketchup. And this ranch, the ranch I'm using, I got from Target, and it's really good. But Kroger brand ranch is really good too. I'm trying to make sure I don't like flick this on myself. Now, it was funny when I got to chicken. You got chicken? When I got to the window and they gave me my drinks and stuff, they gave me a medium drink for but with the Caniac combo, you get the biggest drink that they have. And I was like, doesn't this come with a big drink? And y'all know usually I don't be saying nothing, no, but they sweet tea the bomb. I can't not have the big sweet tea, okay? Gavin said this is some of the best lemonade or the freshest lemonade you ever had, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I love their little slogans and stuff that they say when they be like, hot chicken, what combo you picking? And I literally laugh every time before I tell them what I want. So it's so funny. What? I'm not sure. Some of my bread with the bubs. This garlic toast at the bottom.
Sounds like 2 fries.
Boy. I was watching MRTV's video from yesterday where they ate Sloppy Joe sliders, and one, thank you for the shout out, Maria. And Gavin was like, he was sitting there, he was like, wow, she said all that nice stuff about me. Because she was saying that, you know, seeing like he definitely really smart. He's surely definitely entertaining. He off the chain, but he get it honest, okay? I enjoyed the video though. So shout out to MRTV and Dr. Cowboy.
Who's Dr. Cowboy?
That's her husband. He's a doctor.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine him wearing a hat while he's at
the doctor's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cowboy. Do you wear a cowboy hat when you're in the doctor's office?
And if it's a yes, I'm laughing. If it's a no, I'm still laughing.
Maria's gonna put me in timeout on my own video. You got chicken? You got chicken? Now, Canes. It is very simple, okay? Very simple concept. All I got is chicken fingers, fries, bread, and coleslaw with Cane's sauce, or you can get honey mustard, ketchup. Got a couple different drinks. Nothing extravagant, but the chicken is just so good, and it's consistent, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm surprised Gavin liked honey sauce though, cause he didn't like it. I used to have to get him honey mustard, but I guess he liked cane sauce. Now that's another one of the things where he went over his father's house, okay, and he had it over there, and then he come back home and he like, oh, I like this. It's my favorite thing. But when I tried to give it to him, okay,
It's a no.
yeah,
Because the first time I didn't like it, second time it's a charm.
boy, no. Now, another thing, because I hear it playing in the background, so hope y'all may or may not hear it, but I had left my TV playing while I left out, and my video was playing, and then now the First Family video was playing, and they did the Three Amigos challenge, corn challenge. And Jazz, you did good, girl, because I know, like, I was telling them in the comments, like, yeah, them toppings do make it hard. But she did 1.5, and she did that. And Deb did exactly what I told y'all he was gonna do. Cause he eat corn like that anyway, so I knew that the challenge was gonna be nothing for him. That's why I tagged him. He ate that corn. He ate that corn like a typewriter. I'm not kidding. Like how they be, ching, ching.
He's sweet.
He tore that corn up. And I know when they got finished, it was just like, dang, it's sad that you had to, you know what I'm saying, tear up that good corn like that. Well, that corn was the bomb.
So they watch our videos?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Then you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the fam.
Yeah, that chicken was too good. Too good.
You want another chicken?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes. Mmm. Boy.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know which one is my favorite, but all right. But it's a toss up tie between McDonald's and Cane's as far as my favorite sweet tea.
What?
McDonald's sweet tea. When I was pregnant with Gavin, I had to have a sweet tea and a Big Mac. I definitely drank sweet tea every day, but every day after I had got over morning sickness. But a Big Mac, whoo, that's probably why Gavin like Big Macs now. Because I ate a lot of Big Macs when I was pregnant with him. I ate a lot of them. They were so good. I don't think did I live near I didn't necessarily live next to a near a McDonald's, was a place, because you know, how could you not live near a McDonald's? The closest one was like inside of a Walmart, but I worked near a McDonald's. So I would mosey on over there on my lunch break. Or if I was leaving, and get me a Big Mac.
No. 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 No, don't put that, don't rub that on your face. So it don't hurt your eye. Eye. Oh, not high, eye. This is your eye. No, not die, eye. Yes, I. He said I, then die, then I. I means you.
Yeah, you got like cleaned up over there.
Dang it.
I don't want stuff on this floor. Y'all hear me?
While it's still cold, while it's still hot. Yeah. Poofies. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good.
That's nasty.
Oh no, that is not good. Stop throwing all the stuff on the floor, man.
He didn't see because if he saw me, he'd be like,
Dad, big guy, don't throw anything on my head. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. Picking up your stuff.
oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, so I got my keys in the video I did. Other video I did today, it was pre-keys. I got my keys today. Well, now, the guy was so excited. He's like, "Let's go!" Now, again, I ain't gonna be.
Got everything. Nope.
I'm not moving in anytime soon. I got until the end of May to move in. But then I gotta wait for it to get clean because I guess they the guy of the two people who own the house, he probably just had to leave abruptly too, like, so he had like left a lot of stuff behind and didn't really clean it before he left and stuff like that. So
Didn't even mind the vacuum. Come on, man.
yeah, so the lady of the two people, she was like, well, she'll have it clean for me just to make it right, and then she had to have, like, I guess 1-800-JUNK or whoever come and like get the stuff that he didn't get. Like, I guess he had left the couch there or whatever. And I mean, like, they had a little dog, or he had a little dog or whatever, and the little dog had, you know what I'm saying, had a couple things up in there, so they had to, so yeah, she's gonna have it cleaned or whatever. It's pretty cool. It's a little shed in the back. I think that they like maybe built that with the house, or I don't know, but there's a little shed back there, which I like because, you know, I can keep my lawn stuff in there and I don't have to worry about taking up garage space. You know, with that stuff I get to like do other stuff with my garage and stuff. So pretty excited about that. They left a bike. Like, I hope, I mean, if they, obviously, I'll keep it if they, but it's like a bike that's like the size, probably, I mean, it's a kid's bike. It's about the size of Gavin's bike. But they left a bike. They left, I guess they had a little garden in the back, which is kind of cool because I'm going to definitely do something with that. I'm going to plant something back there. They left a umbrella to maybe their patio set or something back there. Like, listen, they left a couple good things. One thing I'm glad that they did leave, which I don't know if she'll leave it for real, but they had a swing on the front porch or whatever. And I was hoping that they was gonna leave it, but I would have just tried to get one more. Would have got one if they hadn't, but they did leave that in the garage. I'm pretty excited about that because I want to sit on the porch. So they left that. But yeah, I'm excited for it to get cleaned, and they can get the carpet cleaned too. So listen, that just works out because that's less money that I got to spend on it. I was gonna get that done anyway, but now I don't have to pay for it. I don't got to worry about it. So pretty excited about that. Yeah, I gotta go downstairs in the basement to see what's down there. I hope ain't a whole lot down there. I couldn't see because the lights is off. I have to get the lights cut on. What else? Okay, so let me quickly try to tell y'all, because I said in my other video that I would tell you in depth what this process entailed. So I first started with this loan program. It's called Naca, and one of my co-friends, she purchased her home through Naca or what have you. So she was telling me about it, and so it's basically a loan program that kind of basically helps you get through a loan process and puts mortgages in the hands of people who will otherwise not qualify with a traditional lender or whatever. So they don't really take it to, like, the determining factor of you getting a mortgage with them is not predicated off your loan, your credit score, or your debt to income ratio and stuff. Like, they look at that stuff, but it's not like, if it's not where you need, like where a traditional lender would want it to be, you won't get a mortgage with them. It's more so that stuff takes, well, not even your credit score, but your debt to income, your monthly debt to income is taken into an account with how much house you can afford, what their payment, the maximum payment they will allow you to obtain a house for. So they make you do all this stuff on the front end. So they really help you with, like, give you like stringent, like rigorous saving schedules, timelines, or whatever. Like, you have to have like money saved up for minimum required funds. You have to do this thing called payment shock, which is if the desired payment that you want is more than what you're currently paying, you have to like save that difference for a specified amount of time. They have you submit a whole bunch of documents, a lot of documentation, and keep up with it monthly, especially like your credit card statements, your bank statements and stuff like that, income documents and stuff. That you have to submit a whole bunch of documents. But when you do that work on the front end, then it's easier when you go through underwriting because they already have that stuff, and you're also in the habit of giving them documents monthly. So so it's naca.com if you are interested, and if you found that you haven't qualified with a traditional lender, Naca is definitely a resource that I would look into. I probably would look into Naca first if I was anybody before I went to a traditional lender. Now, I do say that to say that I did not close with Naca. It just didn't work out for my situation, but that's not going to be everybody's story or whatever. I really wish it had, because like some of the benefits of it is that you wouldn't have to pay closing. They don't require you to pay closing costs. Your your buying realtor fee would come out of the seller's commission. You wouldn't have to pay any fees for that. You get a really low interest rate. Their interest rates are always lower than the market, and you get an opportunity to buy down your interest rate. And the buy down with Naca is way better than any other lender. Like, I did have an opportunity to buy down with my lender. However, it wasn't nothing compared to Naca. Like, I mean, like, for every 1% of your desired home loan or desired mortgage loan that you put down, you get to buy down like 0.25%. And that's what a 30-year. And then I think I think it's like 0.5 if you do a 15-year loan. So their main thing is just making sure that you can afford the loan once you afford the payment once you're in the house. Because, you know, traditional lenders, they give you the money. Hey, if you qualify, they give you the money, but they're not really concerned what happens after you get into the home and stuff like that, and not really concerned with whether or not you going living above your means and stuff. But NACA ain't here for that. They like, look, we seen your finances. We seen what you paying out monthly. This is what we feel like you can afford to live comfortably or whatever. And yeah, so I mean, like they make you come up with a budget. Yeah, like it's very thorough because, you know, once you submit all them documents and become qualified and stuff, so you know, you in there. And so I'm still NACA qualified. Your qualification lasts for 6 months or whatever. And I was in the process. So what happened with me was I based my housing search and putting in an offer on this house based off of things that I believed to be true. However, I found out stuff that they didn't really advise me on or what have you. So it kind of like messed me up. So one of the things is that I could, because of my income, I could only buy down so much of a purchase price or whatever. And that kind of messed me up. So like, they have this mortgage calculator, and now listen, I'm not rich by any means. Trust and believe me, okay? You know, I guess based on your income determines how much you can buy down or whatever. I wasn't told that, and it don't say that in none of the materials. It literally just says like, they don't say that you can. There's a limit or cap or there's stipulations to the buy down. It don't say that in none of the materials. I've read it. And so there's this mortgage calculator that's on the website. You could put your desired purchase price in there. You can put, you know, how much you want to put down. And also with NACA, it's more beneficial to buy down your interest rate rather than put money down. Whereas I think with traditional lenders, it's kind of more beneficial to put more money down than to buy down your interest rate. Because listen, I did buy down, but it was like, it wasn't even like, it didn't move a whole lot of nothing. But anywho, so you know, you could put your purchase price in there. You can put, you know, how much you want to buy down. You can put how much you want to put down as a down payment. You know, and it already has the market interest rate in there. And then, you know, you put your home, you put how much your insurance would be. If you have a HOA fee, you could put that in there. And then how much the taxes is for the property. So I'm using this mortgage calculator and I'm putting in all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, boom. I know how much I need to, you know, I know how much I need at closing to be able to afford this house. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, I got that, so I'm cool. My plan is working because I had planned on using money from my retirement. Planned on withdrawing money from my retirement. I wish I had done it last year because you could withdraw money last year due to COVID without any penalty. And next year I'm gonna have to pay a tax penalty, or I will have a penalty for having withdrawn money before your retirement age or whatever. And then I had a pension with my previous employer that I didn't even know about. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use money from my 401k and from this pension and already saved, and then money I've saved up or whatever, and boom, that's what I need. I got what I need or whatever, right? So, you know, I get into contract with my house, and I'm working with NACA, and they basically told me like, you know, you don't got the money that you need to close. And I'm like, well, how is that? Because if I buy, you know, I'm going through the calculations. I'm telling them, you know, based off of what I use, the mortgage calculator I use, this is what I need. And they like, you need more than that. And I'm just confused. I'm like, why? Well, then one of the things was that I found out then that I could only buy down so much. So then I'm like, okay, well, then I got to put more down on as a down payment and stuff like that, which the thing is that even if you can, you know, put in for a house that's more than what your payment is, but you have to do other things in order to bring that payment down to what they will allow and stuff like that, what your affordability is and stuff. And also another thing is that you wouldn't have mortgage insurance, which is a blessing, right? Because they don't require you to, and you don't have to put down a down payment. Did I say that? No closing costs, no down payment, no mortgage insurance, lowest interest rate in the market, and you could buy down your interest rate even more than what it already is. I was locked in at 2.375, and then I could have bought it down more. I could have bought it down, I think, like I was gonna buy it down another 1%. So they was like, yeah, no, you don't got what you need. And I was so confused. And my uncle said that I should have asked them like for a detailed calculate, like to see what they're calculating, because I'm literally using their mortgage calculator, and I'm showing them what I will have as far as the money that I was going to use for my retirement funds. And I'm like, okay, I got that. They like, no, you ain't got that. So, what was I about to say? And so another caveat I would say is that, you know, if you're going to go through NACA, definitely make sure that the house that you want is within the payment that they approve you for, because 9 times out of 10 they will not approve you trying to close on a house that's more than what they approved you for or whatever. Only if, you know, maybe you have more money to put down, or if you reduce your debt. So initially when I did the calculation, I was So initially when I did the calculation, I was You want to get down? Yeah. All right, so initially when I did the calculation to figure out how much I was going to need to buy down my rate and stuff to get the payment, because the house that I ended up getting in contract for, the payment just by itself without putting down money was definitely more than what they had approved me, the payment that they approved me for. So, you know, but I already knew that I was going to buy down my interest rate. And if I had been allowed to put as much as I wanted to down to buy down my interest rate, the payment would have been well within the payment that they had approved me for. But then I find out that I can only buy down so much. So I'm like, dang. So then I'm like, okay, well then I'll just put down more as a down payment. But then I was like, okay, I'm gonna put down all this money for a down payment. What if I reduce my debt? So I was like, okay, well, how about I just pay my car off? And then that's getting rid of, I'm like, how about I just pay my car off? That's getting rid of $500+ of debt for me a month, like, and reducing my debt. I know that I can, like, I already could afford the payment anyway, but definitely if I reduce my debt, then of course I should be able to, afford it, right? Or they should, they should be able to approve me for that or whatever. They were like, yeah, you could reduce your debt, but it still wasn't gonna do nothing. And I'm just like, how, Sway? Like, I no longer have a car payment. Like, what are you talking about? So it had to go through like the management of NACA or whatever, the office that I went through. And she was like, you have to basically lay out your plan, and a detailed plan, like numbers or whatever, to tell me how you plan to come up with the money or whatever that you would need for closing. So like my minimum required funds, which I believe is just like a couple months of your rent, a couple months of your mortgage payment and your taxes HOA, whatever, that will be escrow, and then you need whatever you're going to use to buy down your mortgage or whatever, or buy down your interest rate. So I give her, first of all, I sent her an email with exhibits showing where money is coming from, how much I would need, blase skip. Then she was like, yeah, you still haven't, like, I think I had talked to her like later on, I think maybe the next day, she's like, yeah, you still haven't like given me, sent me the email with the money that you're planning on bringing to make this deal work. And I'm just like, I literally sent you a whole email with everything. She's like, yeah, but they have to look through stuff or whatever. So I sent an email with just numbers or whatever, right? And then another thing, so when you the process is, first you have to do this whole home ownership class or whatever. That's the very first step. After you do that class, I think it's like, is it a 4-hour? I think it was like 3 or 4 hours. After you attend that workshop, then you get a Naca ID. Then you can start uploading documents, and then you schedule an appointment with your counselor. You get your NAC ID, then you have to schedule an appointment with an intake specialist or whatever. They go over all your documents and let you know if you have anything to do, like any further documentation they may need or whatever. And then after that, once you complete all that, if you give them all your documentation, then you become NACL qualified. And then after you get qualified, then you have to attend a home buyer workshop or purchase workshop. Then after you attend the purchase workshop and you signed a couple documents, then you're able to start looking your home ownership ready. Or no, you move into housing search. You move into these different statuses and stuff like that. And it's a pretty big deal, like when you keep getting these text messages saying like your different statuses and stuff. So then once you attend the purchase workshop, then you can start looking for a home. And then once you find one, then you're like in property identified, and then you have to send like the contract and stuff. And so then after you obtain your home, then, or find a home that you identify property, then you got to get your inspection within 3 days of signing the contract. And then the inspection goes to this special department called HAND, and they basically look through the inspection, determine what things need to be addressed, and things that they recommend or whatever. And then simultaneously, you should be getting ready for your application to be submitted to the bank for credit access or whatever. And that's basically it going through underwriting and stuff. Here's where I got stuck. Okay, one of the things was that it was wintertime when I initially got into contract. Dead of winter, snow everywhere. So my inspector, he was able to, inspect the house everywhere except for the roof. He could not get on the roof because it was snow on the roof. And so NACA was like, you need to get that roof inspected. And basically I had to keep extending the inspection period in my contract because the roof could not be inspected. So I mean, literally this went on for, I think we had to extend like 3 times because NACA wasn't going forward. They was like, we can't move forward if you don't get it inspected. Or either you had to get it inspected, or you had to come up with a plan for the repairs, or you had to take into that, and you had to take that money or the projected amount that it would take to repair the roof should it need repairs. You had to bring that money to closing. So it was just like, I'm not doing that because I don't think it needs anything. I definitely need to get it inspected, but nobody could get up on the roof. So that was a hurdle. That was a big thing. So took forever to get the roof inspected. It finally did get inspected. And then, but it was like, I mean, literally this went on for like 3 weeks because, it kept snowing, and then it didn't get warm enough for the snow to melt. And we was all trying to figure, well, me and my realtor was like, kept joking, like, do we need to get up on the roof and like shovel the roof? Like, what is going on? Like, we need to get this thing, you know, inspected. But obviously all in due time. I wasn't in a rush, but I definitely did want to get it inspected because, you know, you don't want to move in a house and you got to replace the roof immediately or whatever. Now I wasn't concerned with the roof. Nobody was concerned, even though the house is a little older, but I mean, not too much. It was built in the 2000s or whatever, but still, you know, still wanted to make sure that got done, but it just took forever for us to be able to get it inspected. But the seller thing, he was pretty cool. He wasn't like in a rush or anything as far as like that piece or whatever. His agent was getting really antsy and was mad that we had to keep extending. But it's just like, I mean, it was funny because I think about the third time the seller's agent was like, well, I don't think my seller is gonna want to extend again. And it was just like, okay, well, listen. And then my realtor was like, so what do you want to do? My realtor was like, by the time the third extension needed to be signed, she was just like, well, what do you want to do and stuff like that? Because, you know, she was like, yeah, I want you to know that you do not have to be moved. She was like, I want you to know you do not have to be moved. You know, you could walk away at any point in time and stuff like that. And I was just like, you know what? And it was just, by that time, like everything else that I had gone through, I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. We can send them the extension. If they don't sign it, then listen, it just ain't meant to be, period. So they did sign, the sellers did sign an extension. Again, I think it was just the seller's agent that was being a douche, but the sellers, they didn't really care, I don't think, because I mean they signed it. So that was that. So then something I didn't know was that before you got submitted for credit access, you had to have any monies that you planned on bringing to closing. You had to have that in your bank account. Like, not even just proof of the funds that you have, but you had to have it liquid, all the way liquid, before they could submit you to credit access, which was annoying because, like, as much as I was on top of everything, I would hope that she knew that I would never have waited that long to request the funds from my retirement had I known that I needed to have them before they could submit my application to the bank. And so it was annoying because I had the money for the 401k, or I was able to request that, and it got to me fairly quickly. However, the pension funds, they only disperse that once a month, and it's like you got to request it the month before you want it dispersed. And so when I started the process to try and request the distribution for my pension, they were like, well, the paperwork said that it wouldn't get here until April 1st. And I was like, nah, I need that before then. So then the next available date for them to be able to send it to me was March 1st. And the contract was scheduled to close on March 15th. And the March 1st date was also way past the time they were supposed to submit my application to the bank at day 10 or whatever. Day 10 from the date of the purchase of my contract being signed. So that was a whole thing. It was just like, nobody told me that. And I was just like, if I had known that, I never would have waited this late to request it. I would have had this money. I would have been requested the money from my 401k because, like I said earlier, if I had requested it last year, I would not pay a tax penalty on, I wouldn't pay a penalty on it come 2022. So that was a whole little thing. And then another thing, so definitely, again, if you are going through Naca, or if you plan on to, or, you know, look into it, definitely know that you should just go ahead, like if you are close to being qualified and being able to, you know, start your home search like fairly quickly, I would definitely make sure that any funds that you need for closing, they don't want to just see proof of it, they want it in your account. I wish I had known that, because I wouldn't have waited. I would have had the money. Like, so that was the thing. Then, as far as, then they was saying something like, when you do your payment shock, all of your accounts, any accounts that you give them to look at as far as like where your money is, like where your, you know, I happen to have two bank accounts that I informed them about. Both of those bank accounts collectively have to go up by the amount of your payment shock. So like they can't, it's like if one goes up but the balance of another goes down, it kind of offsets. So where you think that you, because see, I have read that there's a Facebook group also. It's like a really nice support group for people who are going through the process. So, you know, if you plan on going through Naca, definitely join the Facebook group because you can find a lot of good information in there. I had read in the group like people having issues with the payment shock and them saying that, you know, about negative payment shock. Basically, you know, what I just said, that all of your accounts in total have to go up by the payment shock. So not just the account or like the specific account that you choose to save the money in, all of them, any accounts that they have, they all need to go up. I wish I had known that, but I specifically asked about that too. I said, with my payment shock, do all of my account, I specifically asked that question, and she said just choose one account and focus on that account to save your payment shock in. And so I did that. But again, I was trying to be diligent because I didn't want no hiccups in the process, because I have been reading so many horror stories about people having hiccups with the process and stuff like that. And not even saying that those people didn't close, but just they had issues or they had things that they had run into. So I was trying to be diligent and proactive, stop, and, you know, to make sure I had the smoothest process as possible and stuff. So that was another thing. Please stop. So the roof thing was a thing. Not being able to buy down my interest rate as much as I thought I could just put a whole dent in my whole process. So again, if you go through Naca, I would just make sure that the home you choose, make sure that it is within the payment that they have approved you for. Or what was I gonna say? You know, make sure you have funds to buy down your interest rate, but make sure also that you know how much you're able to buy down. Ask that up front or whatever, because had I known, you know, that I wouldn't have even been looking at the house. But also or at least not through Naca. But I mean, I can afford it or whatever, but it just, you know, it would have been nice to have the lower payment. Like, it would have been a gravy payment, like with Naca and stuff like that. But I'm not mad or whatever. So I was still in contract, and basically Naca told me no. They was like, no, you don't have the funds to make this deal work and stuff like that. So I had to go through outside lending, and end up, my realtor put me in contact with a couple. She gave me a couple names. I called one lady, and even with Naca, they was like, well, I would, you know, I would try and see if you can find outside funding before you go through Naca. She's like, because I would hate for you to spend all this money and just to make this thing work or whatever. But I was like, it'd be worth it for real. Like, I had already planned on, like, this is what I'm, you know, spending. So I wouldn't have been mad about it, right? Give me this. And then another thing was that when I went through the purchase workshop and on like the website and stuff, or in the materials, it's like, ask your counselor about first-time home buyer programs and stuff like that, because those programs could possibly give you a grant towards your down payment costs and stuff like that. So that's another thing I would definitely recommend you do, just to look to see if you qualify for them, what the stipulations are and stuff like that, because those places can help you with your closing costs or down payment and stuff like that, or give you money towards it, not necessarily you know, pay all of them. But also definitely look into the stipulations and requirements, because some of them places, they may require you to have like this fixed higher interest rate than you would normally qualify for, and all some kind of stuff. So anywho, but so I was trying to look into those programs to see, like, if I would qualify, and two, you know, because I mean, I ain't about to miss out on no free money, and if I could find some, then I was going ahead and find some. So I had asked her on multiple occasions if she could if she had a list or knew of them and stuff like that. And she was just like, the first time I asked her, she was like, well, yeah, but that just depends on if you would qualify for them and stuff like that. And I mean, I didn't ask you that. I asked you to, if you had a list. That way, I wasn't even wanting her or requiring that she go through the list or call the people for me. I'm not asking you that. What I am asking you for is just the list, and I will do my due diligence and do my own research and figure out if I qualify for these programs or not. Because I wasn't coming up with a lot of hits in Ohio, so I wanted to just see if she had more information, more insight on it. So the first time, that's what she told me. She was just like, yeah, it just all depends on if you qualify for it. Well, duh, but can I get the list anyway? Then she ultimately told me she didn't have a list. I'm just like, but, so why did the materials tell me to ask you for a list or recommendations and you don't got one? And then now Naca, all of Naca loans are written through Bank of America, but it's not like the normal, I guess, department or whatever, mortgage department of Bank of America. Is like a special department that funds the Naca program and stuff like that. And but Bank of America has a first-time home buyer like down payment assistance or whatever. And so I had asked her about that. Well, I had reached out to Bank of America myself just to see what it was hitting for, what they was talking about. And they just told, they didn't never say, I told them, specifically that I was working with Naca and blah blah blah. And they was like, well, she just was like, well, I'm not able to see your loan or whatever, because I'm not the person assigned to it. You would just have to reach out to Naca and ask them to work directly with whoever will be assigned to your loan at Bank of America. So I told my mortgage counselor at this point about that, and she was just like, anybody who contacts Bank of America directly is could be removed from the program or no longer qualified or something. And I was like, well, dang. I mean, I just was trying to get some information because you have been very unhelpful with this part at this point, And then she was just like, well, yeah, they basically said that, they're already doing a lot and that NACA members couldn't take advantage of that specific program at Bank of America. But I'm confused because I've seen people in the group say that they specifically got the grant from Bank of America to go towards their closing costs. So what's up? So I tried to be as inform myself as much as possible. So that's like, reading through the materials, that's searching stuff in the Facebook group to try and find out like how other people dealt with stuff or whatever, or what their experience was. And yeah, ultimately, like I said, I just had to go through outside lending because it just didn't work out with Naca, it sucks because I really wanted to. I wanted it to. And again, I'm not like discouraging anybody from going through Naca. I feel like it is like, if you are able to successfully close through Naca, it's the best mortgage you can get, honestly. Like the benefits, like I said, no closing costs, no down payment, the lowest interest rate in the market. Did I say you can buy down your interest rate? No mortgage insurance. Like, because, most people, insurance, if you are unfamiliar, it's just how much they put a little extra on your mortgage if you don't put 10% down or 20. Is it 20% or 10%? I think it's 20. I think it's 20%, I think. And so, like, that's just extra money that you have to pay that you normally wouldn't have to pay if you put down, like, what traditional lenders want you to put down or whatever. But the average person probably ain't saving that much money, to put down on the mortgage or whatever. So yeah, like I said, it's a good program if you're able to close through them. I just was not able to, which is unfortunate. But my lender, so I got it put in contact with the lender that I did use through my realtor, and it was like smooth sailing once I got to him or whatever. I did contact a couple, like I tried to go through my credit union, but they wasn't really talking what I wanted to hear. Who else? Then my realtor gave me 3 people that she's used before when she's needed to close, when a buyer has needed to close like expeditiously. And I called the first lady, but she wasn't really talking about nothing. She wasn't talking nothing I wanted to hear. But the next dude that I called, that I ultimately chose, he was awesome. Like, listen, that dude hit the ground running. as soon as I was about to say, like, as soon as I contacted him, he was on it. Like, it was awesome. One of the things that I hated that I had to do, like, I mean, you literally don't pay any closing costs or anything. Like, when I did have to pay for my inspection, but like appraisal, all that good stuff, like I wouldn't have had to pay for that with Naca, and I didn't. And I think they had ordered like 2 appraisals, but when I changed lenders, I had to pay for an appraisal, and they had already did one. And I'm like, well, y'all can't just use the one that they did? Like, what's up? And because we had literally just gotten it like maybe less than a week before I had changed lenders. And they were like, well, you know, I guess it's just made specifically for Naca or whatever. But they end up using the same dang on company to do the appraisal, which was annoying. And I had asked my brother, because my brother does work in mortgage banking for my previous employer. So I had asked him, because you know I got to be professionally skeptical at all times, and so I can't just be believing what nobody be telling me. You know what I'm saying? That people hate that I am like this, but honestly, I'm not about to just believe what you say. I'm about to do some research, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that was right. But I'm gonna do what I one thing I am gonna do. I'm gonna do some research, okay, and I'm gonna figure that thing out. But yeah, I'll be researching some stuff. People hate when I do it, but I'm sorry, I got to. Yeah, so it was smooth sailing once I got to him. Yeah, he was on it. Now, one thing that they was doing, so when the seller's agent, because I told y'all he was very antsy, very like he didn't want to keep extending the inspection period. When I got to the new lender, he was thinking, oh yeah, okay, she got a new lender, so that means that we ain't gotta get this roof inspected. And my realtor was like, hold your horses, yes, we're still getting it inspected just to make sure that everything is everything, okay? So yeah, and my lender was on that trash with the seller's agent too, but we still ended up making sure that we get it inspected. I did have to pay for that additionally. I thought my realtor had said that she had contacted some people that could do it for free or whatever, because it's just like just getting an estimate to see like if the roof needed to be done, but they was gonna like kind of inspect it, but whatever, it all worked out. But yeah, basically in the end it all worked out. Now when I got to the new lender, everything went very smoothly, so I was definitely very grateful. And like, unlike, I think maybe the average person in this market that we're in right now goes through a period where they just can't find a house. You know what I'm saying? Because the contract bidding war thing is crazy. Like, you almost have to like be offering $20,000 over asking price, and then you got to offer some other stuff like, you know, waiving remedy, which means like waiving any repairs that need to be done on the house if it comes back in an inspection and stuff. Just offer all type of other incentives just to get your offer accepted. And I was blessed enough to not have to deal with that part of it. Like, my brother and my sister did deal with that, but I didn't have to. But like, my financing part was just such a headache. It was crazy. And I was just like, and if it hadn't worked out even with the outside lender with this house, I would have still tried to go through Naca for the next one, for the next contract or whatever. I just, you know, knowing what I knew what I went through with this house, I would have just, you know, tailored my search and everything else based off of what I knew now or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And even still, if I ever, you know, if I decide that I want to buy again, whatever, and go through Naca, I know, you know, I'm a little bit more abreast and know the inside of the process and stuff like that, and I'm even obviously here to help other people and stuff. But hey, it didn't work out with Naca, but that's okay, because, you know, it worked out the way it was supposed to. And I'm just, you know, at the end of the day, I'm thankful and blessed to have been able to close, and now I'm homeowner, first time homeowner, so and able to provide, you know, the space and stuff for my boys. So yeah, well, my camera is blinking at me, so I'm gonna go ahead. I done had to start this video like 3 times. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but anywho, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. My thumb got stuck. Leave some comments down below. Let us know things you like to see us try, things you like to see us cook, interact with us, because we do like to hear from you. And subscribe to the channel. Go and subscribe and hit that bell so you get notifications the next time we post a video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Hope you guys enjoyed my long-winded story. I hope that I didn't fall too far off the rabbit trail and that it all came together in the end, okay? If you have any questions or if you're confused, definitely ask me in the comment section. Because you know I get lost, y'all. Squirrel! Subscribe to my channel.